And welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Tuesday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. And I had a feeling.
Right?
We're not laughing at you, Nick. We're laughing. I had a feeling going into today that something was going to happen. And it reminds me of a time to tell a story of way back when.
Okay.
You know, we do these daily promos, right? And you're hearing them now where we tell you what's coming up on the next show. Well, a lot of times they're recorded, you know, in the afternoon the day before, and sometimes you don't really know what's going to come up on the next day's show. So several years ago, 10 years ago to be exact, Darren McFarland and I go into a studio and like, hey, what are we doing tomorrow? Have no idea. He cuts a promo that basically says, you know, coming up on the show, you never know. And it was funny and we laughed like, hey, let's do it. Let's put it in there. And sure enough, that promo airs for a few hours. It's about an hour and a half before our show. Ken Wisenhunt gets fired, and you never know becomes Ken Wisenhunt gets fired. So I kind of felt that way yesterday of you never know what's going to happen. Brian Callahan didn't get fired, but he did, I think, shock us all when it was announced he was going to speak today. He usually does not speak on Tuesday, so everybody's like, what's he announcing? And he has announced he has given up play call. After pretty much laughing it off yesterday.
That's right. He saw no problem with the play calling, and now today he's been told, he's been told, there's no doubt in my mind, he's been told, you got to give up play calling, brother, because you're head coach wise, you don't know what's going on. So,
yeah, that's the thing.
Boom.
Look, I will give credit where credit is due, but I'm not going to give him credit on this one because there is no way after yesterday, there is no way in hell that he woke up today and said, you know what? I think I'm going to give Bo Hardegree the play calling. I think I'm going to just skip over my friend, Nick Holtz, Joe's favorite assistant coach for the Tennessee Titans, who has the title of offensive coordinator. I think I'm going to just skip over him, and I'm just going to make Bo Hardegree the OC and the play caller. I think I'll do that.
This is just look. They need to do some drastic things now. He's not giving the play calling up. I mean, he's giving the play calling up to concentrate, he says, on being more of a head coach. We'll play the clip for him in a little bit, but I mean, is this just putting off, kicking the can down the road for a little bit? Is this what this is? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, but it's a big change. He was hired as a play caller, and now the quarterback coach becomes the play caller. The offensive coordinator still don't know what he does. He has got bypassed.
He has a title. He has a title that means absolutely nothing.
Will you give me a title? Just something that makes me sound important.
As the direct now, my title actually does mean something.
Right, of course.
Some people don't listen to it.
Right.
It does mean something. Director of Operations and Sports Programming. Big Joe, you are you are now the
think about it.
Let me think about it for a second.
But it's got to be good. Where entails, I'm not going to do actually none of what you assigned to me.
Yeah. You are the director of. I'm trying to think.
We got it for a little bit.
All right,
That's
let me think.
You got time.
I'll take suggestions too. 615-737-1025.
Fake titles that mean
titles.
Nothing. Yes, because that's what we have with Nick
Dr.
Holtz.
Crane and Nick Frazier. You are the button pushing manager.
Yes.
That is your title. Parker Kelly back there, you are the plaster relations manager.
That's actually a real title. So good luck with that. That's going on. So, I mean, yeah, this is a great day. And we'll get all the Callahan clips, right, and all that good stuff in a moment. But I think it's a kick the can moment. But look, now I'm going to watch that game Sunday with even more interest to see what, in fact, Brian Callahan does.
You are the assistant director of announcements.
I like it. I do like. Okay, I'll take it. I like. Just give me the fake titles like Nick Holtz. Just give me a title. I mean, you're past his title is offensive coordinator. He's never called a play. Now the quarterback coach. Now is the quarterback coach a coordinator? Because you're calling plays. Yeah.
I mean, the way I look at it is Bo Hardegree is now the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans.
Thank you.
He calls the plays. He's going to be a part of the process of scheduling the plays. So to me, that makes him the offensive coordinator.
Exactly, because he's calling plays. That's what a coordinator does all day long.
Yeah. So I don't really get it. But here's what I think happened. I think he had that press conference yesterday where he made himself look like a complete idiot. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
Goes back in. Borgonzi, Brinker sitting there. I don't know if Amy's involved in this or not. I would assume that she has some sort of knowledge or involvement with it. And they say, Brian, here's the deal. This ain't working. And we like you. You're a nice guy, but you really need to step it up and being a head coach. And either, and this is all my speculation, I have nothing to back this up. I am just speculating. Either they were going down the road of you're going to get fired, or they were going down the road of you have to give this play calling up if you want to keep your job. My thing is, I think this was a last ditch effort by him to keep his job, because now what it's done is it's bought him time, because you're not going to. Do you two want to talk? Like, or do you want to do it?
No, go ahead. Keep talking. We're listening. Keep going.
Well, now I've lost my train of thought. What does this do moving forward? Now, I think it buys time, because you can't fire him next week after making this change. You can. It wouldn't shock me if they could,
right?
If they did, but I think you have to now buy it a little time to see how this works with a new play caller.
Well, and you're kicking the can down the road. Now we're just trying to find the because I'm just curious. I just saw the clips that people posted on Twitter. So I didn't hear Callahan talk about why this happened and why he stepped down and what the plan was going forward. So I'm like, all right, I'm just curious. Who did he take a question? Did he make a statement? Did he come out? And because he doesn't speak on Tuesdays, like you said, and I saw the announcement after everybody else. I'm just curious if he came out and made a statement and tried to leave and they asked questions, because typically that's what I would have done. I'll make a statement, I'll talk to you later, and be gone. And then everybody else came out after that. So am I shocked this happened after yesterday? 100% shocked that he came out and said, I am. I'm 100% shocked. Because he was hired as a play caller. He said he saw nothing wrong with the play calls that are going on and all that. So something is going, you're 0-3, you got to do something. You now the quarterback coach. Now, Bo Hardegree, I'm reading here, was an interim OC for the Raiders a couple of years ago. They did okay.
Was that after Gruden got fired?
It was in 23. I'm reading here. So I guess no. So Gruden got bounced in 21.
No, so that was after Josh McDaniels.
Okay.
When Pierce took over.
That's it.
That's
right. Exactly right. So, and he did okay. And I've told you, and we've talked about this, Bo Hardegree is in Cam Ward's ear more than anybody else around, more than the head coach, more than the de facto OC. Bo Hardegree is the guy. So I got no problem with this. We'll see how it plays out on Sunday. I forget what day it is.
Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday.
We'll see what happens. And again, like that's why it was so shocking, because this was an off day that, usually it's just the coordinators that speak, but the head coach doesn't speak. So, you knew he wasn't going to go out there and announce his own firing. Like, hey guys, I just want to let you know I got fired.
Y'all take care. Paul, good catching up with you. We'll see you around. That's going on there. No, that's like when I saw that, I was like, all right, what's going on here? And then you see the word comes out of what's happening, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. All that's going on right there.
So there you go. So he has handed off play calling to the court. Now, I will say this. I think Bo Hardegree is the right choice because of why. Who does he talk to more than anybody on the team?
Absolutely.
Cam Ward. So that makes total sense to do that. And I wonder if Cam was asked. I mean, does somebody go to Cam and say, hey, how do you feel about this? Like the quarterback I think the quarterback's input on who's calling the plays is kind of a important thing.
Well, yeah. And that's it. That's why I think he got moved up, was the simple fact that they've got a great relationship now between the two of those. And now it can be kind of put together and say, all right, we're going to do this together. We'll tack this together. But, I think still there's a lot of questions. It's still a bad football team going forward. And maybe this puts a little oomph into them on Sunday because they're going to need it. And you know what happens when the Titans lose to Houston? Didn't Wisenhunt get fired after the Texans game in 15?
Oh,
I think that was correct.
that is.
Didn't Vrabel lose to the Texans in the throwbacks in 23 that drove her crazy?
That was the last game of the year.
The Jags was the last game.
Oh, yeah.
But they lost, if I remember that correctly.
So you are correct. They lost at Houston 20-6. And then he's fired on Tuesday. Malarkey takes over, and they beat the Saints in overtime down in New Orleans.
Okay, that's it. What game was it down there where J.J. Watt just destroyed them? Was that the game? And they kept single blocking J.J. Watt, and we were like, why are you not putting two guys on J.J. Watt? I think he just destroyed Lawan in one of those games, just destroyed him. And I don't remember what it was, but it was one of those games. But the reaction's always been after Houston, something happens.
He had 2.5 sacks. Whitney Merciless had 3.5 sacks. Jared Crick, whoever the hell that is, had 1 sack.
7 sacks in a game. Was that the 15 game?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So things happen after they lose to Houston. That's the way it goes. And so we'll see what happens on this Sunday. And maybe they go down and get a win and don't start out. I mean, when you're 0-4, we're looking at mock drafts, right? At 0-4?
Oh, yeah.
We're
starting to look at draft order and mock drafts and stuff like that.
4 games in. You're not even a quarter way into the season. You're looking at mock drafts. But hey, that's what it is.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Brian Callahan has given up play calling. Does that make you feel better, or do you still lean on the he needs to be fired completely? We'll discuss that and much more coming up next. Tim Hasselbeck at 1 o'clock here on 102.5 The Game.
You were hired largely because you were a play caller.
Yeah.
So it seems like a self-demotion, if you will, or whatever. What's kind of your feeling at needing to give it up when it was a big part of the reason that you were the choice?
Yeah, again, it's a pretty easy thing to do when it comes to trying to help the football team win and do the best thing for, what the job is. I got hired to be the head coach, and part of that process was being involved on offense, but my job is to be the head coach of the football team. And I think that this allows me to do that job a little bit better, pay more attention to some things that might require my attention and be more present. So all those things are normal. I think it's all part of, where we're at. We're 0-3, and so we're trying to get better. And I think that's my same message to the players as it is here right there at this podium.
That was Brian Callahan earlier today, chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday, as he has given up play calling to Bo Hardegree. So what does this mean moving forward? I think the big thing is this buys him some time. I believe that now you can present to the owner, you've presented to management of, hey, I'm recognizing that there is an issue and that I'm a part of that issue, and this is my solution to fix it. Now you have to give that a little bit of time. Now, if they go and lose 41-0 to Houston, she's probably not going to care, and he's probably still going to get fired. But, because you can also look at it from the other lens of, well, now his only job is being the head coach, and if he still is not good at being the head coach, then what do we need him for?
Say that again.
If he's not good at being the head coach, then what do we need him for?
Exactly. That's it. That's the bottom line. You summed it up right there. That's exactly all you need to think about is now he's the head coach, not calling plays. What can he do? How's his game management? Is it any better? If it's not any better, which I don't think it will be, then you're not here long. You shouldn't be here long if you can't get it done. So 3-17, you gave up play calling, which you have been adamant about even until yesterday. You're not giving it up. And I'm just curious, what was the thing that said you got to give up play calling? Was it Brinker? Was it Borgonzi? Did Amy call? I'm just curious about how this all happened. Of like, you got to give it up, because we all know he had to give it up eventually, and he's giving it up. So that's it. And I was not prepared for this news today. I mean, I was not. I told you before the show. I
was expecting more him to get fired than this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I expected the status quo, nothing. This show is akin to in high school when your PE teacher just rolls the basketball out during gym time, and he goes and sits on this. We all know that. You're just kind of like, open the phones. Let us hear what you got to go, because this show's going to run itself, man. But
here's the other thing. Does him giving up play calling fix him playing for a field goal at halftime when he had time to go for it? That's the other thing. And Marlon in Murfreesboro, Coach Callahan needs to be fired. Being that indecisive close to halftime and not being aggressive is really convincing me to change the channel.
I can see that. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you're playing for a field goal. I mean, we got into it yesterday, and that's enough to get my blood pressure rise again. But you're playing for a field goal. That's all you need to know as a head coach right now, playing for a field goal. So Bo Hardegree now gets the reins and see what it can do.
Justin and Greenbrier, this move seems more like Amy saving face. I think she wanted to fire him, but they made this compromise to keep the trend of her emotionally firing people from continuing. I don't want Callahan in charge of toilet paper choice in the facility. I want him away from the team.
It's a good point. All these are good points.
I feel like toilet paper would fall under president of football operations, which is Chad Brinker.
Right.
I know this because as director of operations, that falls under my purview.
Are you responsible for the one ply?
I mean, I'm responsible of saying when it needs to be reordered.
Woody and Jim would like to have a word. For his 1 hour meeting he has every day from 10 to 11. Inside baseball. You know what? It's funny.
7008 says it's easier to be a good play caller when you have some decent talent out there to call plays for. I think the Vikings and the Titans are a good ways apart. Okay.
Yeah.
For those of you that still want to look solely at the roster and nothing else, I say this respectfully, but get your head out of the sand. It's more than a bad roster. Yes, the roster's bad. I am not denying that. It is not a good roster. But you cannot, as I've said before, the head coach cannot contribute to the losing. And that's what's happened.
Mhm.
It's the roster and Brian Callahan. So you can't give him a pass because they have a bad roster, because he's messed up too.
Big time. I mean, the Denver game last week, I mean, he has shown that he's incompetent when doing this. I mean, he can't, and I'm not, that might be harsh, but I don't care. But you're a professional football coach. You should know better. You should know the rules. You should know things that go on. You should know that playing for field goal does not win games. We all know that. And that's what he's done right now. So he's concentrating more on being head coach. Who knows, man? Again.
Yeah, he said, I need to concentrate on being the head coach. Well, buddy, what have you been doing the last 2 years?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Which leads us into our question of the day. We want to get it out there for you guys. This is kind of a fun thing. What's your one-word reaction when you found out Brian Callahan was giving up play calling? Your one-word reaction. Now, I'm going to add a little addendum to this. A hashtag can be one word. So you can hashtag some things together. Just your one-word reaction when you heard Brian Callahan gave up play calling. Mine was hashtag praise the Lord, because this team needed something. They could not go to Houston with the same old. They needed something. And hopefully this is that something where they can win a game on Sunday.
It has to be a one-word reaction?
One word, or you can hashtag it.
Okay.
But you got to say hashtag.
Like my one word, in the words of Nelson Muntz, was ha ha.
Okay. Dr. Crane, you got to throw one out there for us too as well. You were on the air when that happened.
Oh, brother. Hashtag oh, brother.
Hashtag oh, brother. You know what? I'm game for changes.
Here we go.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm game for changes. I don't mind. You could not go to Texas with the same mindset that you had the last 3 games. So maybe something different happened. I don't know. But the roster's still bad. It's still a bad team. Texans are 0-3. They're going to be desperate when you get down to Houston on Sunday. So there's a lot at factor here, but maybe this will go. I can't wait to hear the guys' reactions tomorrow when the team gets back. And, when did they find out? When did they know? I mean, did they know last night? Did they know today? I'm just curious, because this is a big deal. It's a really big deal for your head coach, who's hired to be a play caller, has been stripped of his play calling duties, however he wants to say it, that he gave it up or it was taken away from him. He's no longer the play caller.
Chris on X says, has a coach ever made it to the end of the season or even stayed on another season after relinquishing play calling duties? Yeah. I mean, Mike McCarthy did it. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there have been plenty of head coaches that call plays that would give it up and have kept their job. That's why I think he's doing it, because this is the last, either he's doing it, or if I had to guess, Brinker might be, because this is going to be on Brinker too. So he might be saying, like, hey, just give this up. We'll make it look like it's your idea. You'll look stronger, and then we can turn things around.
Do you think we hear from Brinker or Borgonzi the rest of the year? Unless they fire Callahan. Do you think, because the questions they're going to get?
I would say no. I'd say the only way you do is if they make a coaching change.
If you're advising Borgonzi or Brinker, would you have them talk to the media? Hell no.
No.
We'd like it.
This is what I would have. At the end of the season, when you're going to fire Brian Callahan, probably, I would have Brinker, Borgonzi, and I would have Amy. And I would have Amy read a statement. I'd like her to take questions, but at least have her say something on this. And then she can go do her thing. But I think it means something to the fans. All kidding aside, we're hard on her. I think it would mean something to the fans if she spoke, because she's been silent since Vrabel.
Oh, absolutely.
She got told, somebody advised her, and she listened, of you just need to go, but like, it was a bad look for her to stand on the field and not speak for Mike Keith.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very bad look.
All day long.
Hey,
all day long.
My food's finally here.
What time did you order your food?
2 days ago. It came by camel, I guess. I
Greyhound bus.
I don't know. 615-737-1025. We'll have more on this next. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game.
How did Nick take it when you decided to jump over him and go to Bo?
He took it well. He's a professional. He understands that's the way that these things go sometimes. But his role isn't changing in terms of what he's doing and how he's doing it. His role in the process, his role on game day, all those things are exactly the same as they were before. And again, the play calling thing sometimes gets a little bit overblown, if you will, because everyone's got a role and we all got a process. Bo's still in charge of the third down game plan, and Tyke and Mike McCoy do the red zone, and Nick does all the base downs, and Randy does the screens. And so all those things are all going to stay the same. It doesn't change that process any bit whatsoever. It's just, the plays are at the end of the day on Sunday coming out of somebody else's mouth. I'll be still very present in the process. I'm involved in it, but it's going to allow me to do more around the team and around in both other phases besides offense and special teams and defense. So It's not really, to me, at the end of the day, it's pretty normal in this league for things like this. This isn't some seismic shift or crazy change. It's just trying to help me do my job a little better and let some other people take on a little bit more.
Chasing Big Joe.
I mean, was that AI? Was that a joke?
All right, Dodge Crane, here's what I would like to do. And
Oh
if you
my
need a
gosh.
second to prepare for this, let me know. I would like you to play that again, but I'm going to tell you when to stop. And we're going to comment after a couple of different things because I have some things to get off my chest here. Please start again.
How did Nick take it when you decided to jump over him and go to Bo?
He took it well. He's a professional. He understands that that's the way that these things go sometimes. But his role isn't changing in terms of what he's doing and how.
His role isn't changing. He's the offensive coordinator, and as Joe has talked about for 2 years,
Thank you.
Doesn't call plays. He makes suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
So now you, the head coach, are not going to be the offensive coordinator anymore. You're not going to call the plays. So you're going to bypass the guy that actually has the title, which basically tells me he can't do the job. So what the hell are we paying him for?
Right. So
if the Titan that we as the Titans,
I'm
not paying him.
I'll give credit to Dr. Crane. You said something to me during the break earlier, which was great. They had planned with this OC title for Nick Holtz. They had planned to come in here and be successful. That way Nick Holtz could get a head coaching job because the OC. Same way it happened for Callahan in Cincinnati, the success, which he had nothing to do with. They're going to keep trying to hoodwink the league. Holtz coming here like, oh, I'm the OC. He's never called a play, and he's got the title of coordinator. It doesn't work that way. And like you just said, Chase, they bypassed you to the quarterback coach. Why are you here?
Yeah.
You want suggestions? I'll make suggestions on Sunday, and you can pay me a third of what you pay him. All right.
Yeah. All right. So that's a part of that. Continue.
How he's doing it, his role in the process, his role on game day, all those things are exactly the same as they were before. And again, the play calling thing sometimes gets a little bit overblown, if you will.
Stop. The play calling thing gets a little overblown.
Okay.
So you're telling me the plays, which is the form of football, this is what you do. You to beat the opponent, you have what we call plays. I'm dumbing this down because that's how this has to be now. We have what we call plays, formations, and you put different things together that form a play. You're telling me, head coach Brian Callahan of the Tennessee Titans in the National Football League, you're telling me that play calling is overblown.
No, I think it's in the context of what Nick Holtz does. I think that's all because it's in the same line of questioning. I think it's talking about because he's the OC,
right?
The play calling is overblown because that's not really his job.
Okay. Still. Hell yeah, it's overblown because when you're the offensive coordinator, you're supposed to call the plays.
He calls no plays. He's never called a play. They put him in position, has an OC, and some of y'all in the media defended this.
Heart rate's going.
Y'all defended this because he's a coordinator. Coordinator calls plays. That's what a coordinator does. Nick Holtz has never done anything. He told us, he's a year ago, right? My God, it all runs together, that he makes suggestions.
And now there's 5 people involved in the process, apparently, which is great.
What did I tell you the other day, Joe? Remember we did a show back in June, July? Those are all just job titles.
Job titles. All right, continue on.
Robert, hang on. Robert said, guys, this isn't a big deal. Happens all the time, guys. Tell me it's a big deal while telling me it's not. Robert, it is a big deal. It is a big deal.
Huge deal.
And two-tone till I die, just go put your head in the sand. Like, that's how, I mean, come on, dude. It is a big deal. It's a big deal to name a guy offensive coordinator who has nothing to do calling plays, and then when you as the head coach take that off of you, you don't give it to the offensive coordinator, you give it to the quarterback's coach. It is a big deal because it's basically saying they're incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
Because everyone's got a role, and we all got to process. Bo's still in charge of the third down game plan, and Tyke and Mike McCoy do the red zone, and Nick does all the base downs, and Randy does the screens. And so all those things are all going to stay the same. It doesn't change that process any bit whatsoever. It's
Okay. So I don't know how other teams do it. Like, I am not that involved in how the makings of a game plan and who all's involved. So Tim Hasselbeck may tell us that, no, that's pretty normal that you're going to have your position coaches that are involved in some of that stuff. So, okay, if that's the case, great. But again, I ask this respectfully, what does Nick Holtz do?
Why respectfully?
Why is he, what is this?
Right.
Like, okay, wide receivers coach? Yeah, makes sense. Quarterbacks coach? Yeah, makes sense. Running backs coach? Yeah, makes sense. O-line coach? Sure, makes sense.
You have
guy with a title that
Right.
that gives suggestions? Well, hey, look, I really like what you guys did here, but
let's hear from him.
what if you moved Calvin over here where he could drop it over there instead of here?
Well, exactly. Do we have a condensed version of this? Is Nick Holtz talking to me and Chase a year ago at training camp when it brought up what the hell is his job?
So I pretty much am either talking directly to Brian or I kind of narrate what's happening. Hey, they're getting safeties down here. You should go the other way, whatever this is. And just kind of, because when you're upstairs, you do have the best view of kind of all the moving pieces. And
okay, he
Yeah,
narrates.
there you go, he narrates.
What's the guy, John Facenda? Isn't that the guy who narrated NFL films for so many years? Maybe they should bring him. I mean, he's dead now.
I thought it was what's his name that I think is also dead, but
the guy from Philadelphia.
yeah, that does NFL films.
It was Facenda for a little bit. Then it was the other guy.
Why am I blanking on his name?
Same. He called the Eagles games, right?
Damn
it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out.
He had a great. It's not Harry Callis. It is Harry Callis.
No, that's not who I'm thinking of. I thought it was his brother. I think the brother or something does something with across the street.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
So there's some Nick Holtz making suggestions and kind of having a nice. Basically, Nick Holtz got a pretty damn good view of the game, right? I like to sit up there too, Nick, and I can make suggestions as well. So you're bypassing this guy, and now it's Bo Hardegree's job. It is a big deal when the coach that was hired to call plays gives up half of his job. That's a huge deal. Sorry, was it Richard or whoever they got? Robert, that's a big deal, buddy. Your coach is admitting he's not good enough. That's it. And you move on.
This sounds like there's two. This is 5122. This sounds like there's too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah. Third down guy, special teams guy, screen guy. Never heard of that.
Steve Sable. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
I thought he did a lot of the.
He was the kind of behind the Ed Sable was his dad. They started NFL films. But I think it's John Facenda and Harry Callis. Okay. Harry Callis was the name.
All right.
Now, evidently, now it's Nick Holtz. He's going to narrate games. On this Sunday, the Titans were poised for another loss. That's what he does there.
That sounds great.
This is a big deal. This is a big deal today.
Coming up, we'll continue to react to this, and I'm going to try and calm down for a second. People are concerned. Tim Hasselbeck at the top of the hour. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game.
You and Chad and Mike have been pretty open about the way that you lean on each other. How much of discussions with those guys led to making this decision?
Yeah, that's all part of the process. We communicate daily. We talk about everything. There's nothing that goes on over the course of the day that I don't have a conversation with both of those guys at different points, sometimes together. But our communication, I think, is what leads to our strength and our ability to operate. And these jobs sometimes require, some self-reflection and decisions that maybe sometimes personally you struggle with, and you got to look real hard at yourself and do what's best for the team. And I think that's ultimately what where we're at, and what we're trying to do is we want to win. We want to win games, and we want to put our team in great position to do so. And that's what the fun in this profession is. It's not fun losing football games, and we want to put ourselves in a better spot. And I think that's was all part of the discussion.
So is that something that they suggested or just endorsed?
No, that's something. This is something that I felt like would help us the most. And we talked through it. I think we talked through the pros, cons, all those things, and ultimately at the end of the day, felt like this was going to be the best thing for our football team moving forward, and allow us to allow me to do a better job as a head coach, and allow our coaches to coach, and our players to play. And I think that's the general mindset from the whole thing. And again, this isn't like it happens. It's happened all the time. This is not an abnormal process for guys in these roles, and for how these processes work, and trying to be better at the end of the day. And that's all I ask of our players. And I'm no different. So I'm trying to do a better job at the job that I have.
Brian Callahan on, again, more explanation of why he's given up play calling. I laughed when I heard the part of, so did they suggest it? And he said, no, it's just something I thought. Come on now. We're smarter than that.
Well, he's kind of talking on both sides of his mouth, because yesterday he's like, I'm not giving it up. Now, Hey, it requires some self-reflecting, what I've got to do. I understand all that, but something happened last night to say, you're giving it up. Somebody told him to give it up. You're not doing this anymore, whether it's Amy, Borgonzi, Brinker. You're not good at calling plays, so give it up. And that's exactly what happened. And now you concentrate on being a head coach, which worries me even more, because
I'll tell you who I hope was at the forefront of this. I hope it was Borgonzi. I hope it was Borgonzi, because that is a GM, that is a leader, that is someone that should be making that type of suggestion. So I hope it was Mike Borgonzi. Amy has every right to say that too, but the GM or that person, Mike Borgonzi, should be going to her saying, Miss Amy, I think he needs to give up play calling, and this is what I'm going to tell him.
I hope that's what the case is. And now,
I mean, if Chad's involved in that, fine. But I look at the general manager as being the guy on the football team that runs the football team, and then you got the coach, and then they've done this crazy way of doing things with the president of football operations and all that stuff.
You know what's funny is that we have great listeners. We love you guys. I said earlier in the show, give me a title, right? And now I'm getting texts from friends. That's all they're talking about. Not the fact that the Titans have got rid of their play caller, but moved on. Bart Barker says you should give me the title of offensive coordinator. Thank you, Bart Barker, for listening.
Dr. Crane, Ricky on our text line is asking, who was the last head coach to give up play calling?
In NFL or Titans in general?
NFL.
I want to say Mike McCarthy.
I think it was Mike McCarthy with the Cowboys, because I think he gave it to Brian Schottenheimer, who's now the head coach.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I could be wrong, but that's happened. Like that's not uncommon.
I've just never been a fan of a head coach being a play caller. Now you can come at me with Andy Reid. Andy Reid's got Patrick Mahomes.
I think you're not a fan of it because you haven't seen it work here. But there are plenty of cases where it works. Sean McVay works. Kyle Shanahan works. Andy Reid obviously works.
It was Kevin Stefanski.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it says here. In 2024, he gave it up to Ken Dorsey.
Okay, all right. That works.
Former Miami quarterback and Buffalo Bills coordinator, has the greatest meltdown reaction in the press box when he threw his laptop against the wall when Josh Allen got sacked in that game in Miami. I've just never been a fan of it. I'm just not. I mean, you talk about all this. They've all had great quarterbacks. McVay's had Goff and Stafford, Andy Reid's had Donovan McNabb, and now he's got Mahomes. Look, when he didn't have those guys, Alex Smith, they weren't that great. So the quarterbacks make you better, and that helps out along that goes on those lines. But just never been a fan of it. There's more to go on. You hire somebody to do that and call those jobs. It has been an abject disaster here with Wisenhunt and now with Brian Callahan, who was hired to come in as a play caller, even though he had never called a play in a football game ever.
So this is Koharski. Brian Callahan broke down which assistants have special focuses on what elements on the elements of the Titans offense. Base offense, OC Nick Holtz. Third down, quarterback coach Bo Hardegree. Red zone, wide receiver coach Tyke Tolbert, and senior offensive assistant Mike McCoy. Screens, running back coach Randy Jordan.
Way too many, man. Way too many. Now you can in my experience with offensive coordinator in college, I'm not at the NFL. I can't attest to that, but the coordinator had we had one guy who oversaw everything and made the determination. There was not this is it now we let people feel good about themselves? Like the screen coordinator? That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Screen coordinator.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. We already talked. They got 27 coaches on that staff, which is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So I don't know. We give people titles to make them feel good, which is ridiculous.
I'd say a screen coordinator is something you see at the movie theaters.
Right?
Yeah.
You just put the tape in and then they coordinate
or a
movie
guy
plays.
who runs a home improvement company. Hey, I'm going to add a screen there. I got a screen coordinator. That's Nick Frazier. Nick, can you go over and do a screen coordination for this guy? Oh, I got that now.
So
it's ridiculous.
Let's ask this simple question. Is it going to get better? Because I say the answer is no.
I'm actually a little bit excited.
I'm curious.
If Brian Callahan stays away from play calling and lets Bo Hardegree, who did okay with the Raiders in 23, I'm a little excited.
Trent on our YouTube chat, this is perfect. I'm not paying full price for a half price coach.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are for another couple of years. You got Vrabel off the books. Robinson comes off the books soon. You still got to pay Rand.
He's napping.
He's napping, and now you got a few other things going on there. But when you're worth about $4 billion, don't come to me with money problems.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So there you go. We will get Tim Hasselbeck's thoughts on this because I can't wait. He's going to have good stuff for sure. Brian Callahan gives up play calling. That is all I had in hour number 2. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, The Game on this Tuesday. Brian Callahan has given up play calling for the Titans, and who better to talk about that than the head coach at Innsworth High School and also ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck, who is on the line with us. Tim, what's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
We're doing fantastic. This was not the news we were expecting to hear today. I honestly was, being truthful, not expecting to hear any news today, but Brian Callahan has put Bo Hardegree in as the play caller so he can focus on being the head coach. How big or small of a deal is this truly?
I think it's a big deal. Look, Brian Callahan's been a play caller. A lot of times guys get opportunities as head coaches because they're coordinators or play callers. So I think relinquishing that is not easy. And you would think that maybe with some of the, I don't know, best way to put it, game management, concerns, whether it's been a challenge, whether it's been, and a half, things of that nature, just making sure you're doing those things correctly. So I think it's a big deal. And I think it's also kind of an acknowledgement of like, look, this has not been going well. And I think it's also important when you consider you've got a young quarterback who's just going to be starting his, fourth game ever. I think that, typically you want like a great understanding between play caller and quarterback. And so, now this is a change pretty early on.
Do you think that this, now kind of buys him a little time, allows him to maybe get some things figured out from the head coaching standpoint, because he doesn't, even though he's going to be involved, you're still the head coach, you're going to be involved in things, but it takes a little bit of that pressure off him so he can focus on some of those situational things like you just referenced?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're trying to figure out like which. I think it's both things, right? I think it's both. The offense has been struggling, so like let's see if a different play caller helps. And then I think there's also the side of it, which is, hey, how can I manage the game better? And maybe not calling plays will do it. So I think it's both things. The question that we don't know, and we probably never will, is what is the driving force of the decision? Is the driving force of the decision, hey, we need you to be able to be, a better in-game head coach? Or is it, look, offense is not doing, as well as we wanted to, do. And so let's have somebody else call it and see if that, ends up helping us a little bit. I think it's both things, but there has to be a driver on it.
Yeah, for sure. I did want to throw this out there. A little bit of breaking news out of college football. Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy have parted ways. So Mike Gundy out as the head coach. I'm surprised, but not surprised.
Yeah, I would agree. And like, it's one of the things that's going to happen is, the moving parts in, listen, college football and pro football, we're going to see in terms of coaches getting fired and people moving around. I mean, just think of at big programs, okay, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, places like that, UCLA, like where you have coaching changes already. I mean, we're not even in October. And so when you have coaching changes, you then have player changes, it just, the ripple effect of these guys losing their jobs when they're losing them is, it's just with the way, especially with transfers now, the way it impacts things is just going to be crazy. It's just wild, the turnover every team seems to have now.
Tim Hasselbeck is on the Chasing Big Joe show. Tim, I got to give you credit, man. You said it a few weeks ago when I asked you, there are three people in Cam Ward's ear: the head coach / play caller, the OC who does nothing, and the quarterback coach. And I asked you, which of those three should Cam listen to? And you said the quarterback coach. And now that quarterback coach is now the offensive coordinator. Is that good? I mean, him and Cam got a bond, right? They have to have a bond because they do spend a lot of time together.
You would think that you have a bond. Look, you never really know the relationship unless you're in the room all the time. I mean, the best way to sense the relationship is in terms of quarterback and quarterback coach and quarterback is when you're one of the other quarterbacks and you hear what the quarterback says when you either leave the room or the quarterback coach leaves the room. I mean, that's the reality of it. And sometimes it's, it's implicit trust, and other times it's, I don't know why he's asking me to do that. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. He doesn't see it the same way I see it. So, Joe, I mean it. Like, I don't think you really know, until, there's been a lot of time with one another, and there's a true sense of, how each guy, views the other guy. I mean, I don't think that's the case. Now, I do think that, you do spend a lot of time. If you're the position coach, you spend a lot of time, with the quarterback. And so you should have a pretty good sense, maybe better than most, of the things that guy likes and doesn't like conceptually.
Are you, I was lucky in college, Tim, that my coaches were brutally honest with me and with the team about plays and calling plays and things like that. Is it good to be brutally honest? I mean, this is a shot to Callahan's ego. He's, knocked out of his play calling now. Sometimes you can't sugarcoat things, right? I mean, are you brutally honest with your guys?
Listen, I'm brutally honest with our guys. I hated as a player when I felt like a coach had his mind made up about me, but would tell me, something different. And it was like, look, like I'm, especially later in my career, I'm like, look, I'm 30 years old. Like, tell me truthfully, like, how you feel. I mean, I'm married, I have kids. Like, you don't need to like sugarcoat it to me like I'm some junior high school, player. So that is my approach. I think just being so like I'll just tell you how I do it. It's like I will never say something to one player that I wouldn't say to the entire group of players. So if I'm talking to a receiver, like I would only say to him what I would say to the entire receiver group. Just because it's like, look, we have nothing to hide. We're going to be honest about why so-and-so is playing, why somebody else is not. And, the minute, anybody thinks that like they're treated unfairly or anything like that, bring it to my attention and we'll talk about it. So I think the same thing holds true, in pro football. Look, if you're the head coach and you're the play caller and it's not going well, I got news. Like, there are a bunch of other coaches on that coaching staff who, might see things slightly different and may feel like a different approach is beneficial. And it's, look, if one of them deserves an opportunity to call the plays, then maybe that's the right move to be made. And if it doesn't work, then, there probably ends up being consequences to that.
So Callahan did a breakdown of which of the assistants have special focuses on different elements of the Titans offense. And I'm going to read this off to you, and you tell me if this is kind of a normal practice with teams. The base offense is offensive coordinator Nick Holtz. Third downs, Bo Hardegree. Red zone, wide receiver coach Tyke Tolbert and senior offensive assistant Mike McCoy. Screens, running back coach Randy Jordan. Is that how a lot of teams do it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will. I've been on teams where it's like, listen, the tight ends coach would, install the third down protections. The receiver coach would, would install, third down passing concepts. First and second down base runs and stuff would maybe be, like a different position coach. Short yardage goal line, the offensive line coach may have a heavy hand in that. And so, like, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. So it's not surprising that responsibilities are divvied up throughout a coaching staff. Look, it's no different at, the coaching staff that we have here at Ensworth. Like, we, divvy some of the responsibility up. And so I think that, I think the danger in like making all of that public, is, look, when there's certain areas that are struggling, then all of a sudden it's just like, laser focus on, hey, we think on third downs right now, like let's go focus on this coach. Like, and I don't know that that's necessarily fair. So like I think that's where it would be, I think divulging that information of who's where would be, somewhat, that's a little surprising to me. I say that to say, like, when I was in Philadelphia, Brad Childress was the offense coordinator. Pat Shurmur was the quarterback coach. Pat Shurmur was doing a lot of things other than just coaching the quarterbacks, but no one other than the people in the building knew it. And so I think that's probably the right way to handle it.
Did Andy call the plays?
Still calling the play, even though Brad Childress was the offensive coordinator. And Andy really, for the most part, has always called plays, even still to this day, with input of other people.
Gotcha. We'll have more with Tim Hasselbeck coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday, continuing our conversation with Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN NFL analyst. So, Tim, it looks like the Giants We'll go to Jackson Dart. They're going to sit Russell Wilson. He was booed a lot on Sunday Night Football. They lose, and now Jackson Dart, a rookie, gets his chance to take over. You think this is the right move, or is it you got nothing to lose?
Well, I think it's the right move because I think that he's the future there. I'm a little surprised in the move. Listen, 2 weeks ago, Russell Wilson throws for a career high in yardage, and like throws for 450 yards. So just, 2 weeks removed from that getting benched, when we're just at week 4 is a little surprising to me. I do think it's always interesting when you listen, especially to broadcast crews like the Sunday Night crew, where it's, it's Collinsworth. They get great access. Same thing with Tirico. And, Dart comes in for, a play here or a play there. And they just start talking about, the excitement from the coaches in the organization whenever his name comes up. And, usually when that's the case, like, it's kind of a where there's smoke, there's fire. That, there obviously was excitement about, his opportunity. And so it probably just was one of these things that, like, they made a decision they were going to do it. And then when you have plays like they had, on Sunday Night Football, 4th and goal, and Russell Wilson, heaves the ball out of the back of the end zone. Another 4th down play late where, I think he took a sack, and you're not even competing. You're not giving your team a chance. The place is booing. I think it's easy to make a decision at that point.
Were you surprised, not surprised that Carson Wentz played so well?
I think surprised because, I think Kevin O'Connell does a good job. I think, to have time off, to be a guy that has literally expressed interest of, I might just walk away from football, to play the way he played in terms of, I think there were times where there was good pocket movement and accuracy. I think he played well. And I think the matchup certainly helped because since he was struggling so, bad on offense that, it probably felt like a lopsided field to play on. But I thought for the most part, he played, kind of at a starter level. And that's a really good sign for any team that is playing with their backup.
Tim Hasselbeck's on the Chase and Big Joe show. Tim, I find your football knowledge immaculate, and I'm being serious. I'd love to pick your brain for hours. Will you please help me with something? Why? And Chase can roll his eyes, and I love it. Why is Nick Holtz called an OC, Tim, when he doesn't call any plays? please, help me through this. I need help on this.
First, Chase is rolling his eyes because he kind of feels like you're trying to become my best friend. Chase is my best friend. Yeah. So, I appreciate, the compliments, but it's going to take more than that to affect Chase and I's relationship.
Thanks, buddy.
Good.
So yeah. Here's what I would say. There is a lot that goes into coordinating an offense. And what I mean by that is, look, you watch your opponent, you try to identify the things that, are good, in terms of the personnel that you have to run against the scheme that you're going to face. So, you're putting a plan together to attack a scheme first and foremost, but then you also have to consider personnel. So you also are putting a plan together where, okay, it matches in terms of what you do, in terms of who you are as an offense, attacking a defense, but do they have players that are a problem for us? That looks good on the whiteboard, but we can't block JJ Watt. And so because of that, that play that looks good on the whiteboard, that's not something we can do. How do we attack that individual player? How do we deal with that individual player? So you're doing all of that. You're devising, you're kind of coming up with the plan. And now when you come up with a plan, you got to think of all the scenarios that you need to have a plan for: short yardage, goal line, third down, and so, you have all of that. You still have 2 minutes. You have other situations that you need to handle. Well, so those, all on one person, it's a lot. Then you need to install it. You need to install it to your coaches. You need to install it to your players. And then obviously it needs to get, called during the game. So, to me, there's you're a play designer, you're a planner, you're scheming, you're doing those things, but it doesn't mean you have to be the one that decides, which, third and medium call you get to first. Like that could literally be somebody else, assuming that your staff, is kind of lockstep in terms of how you see the plan.
So now I'm even more confused. So I just
Not
know,
surprising.
I think we give titles to give titles, Tim, and I got a problem. He's not a court. He doesn't call anything, right? So why not just call him
the play caller? But that's the play caller. So like the example would be all those years Eric Bieniemy, who's the offensive coordinator in Kansas City, like he wasn't calling the plays. Andy Reid was calling the plays. So like he's the offensive coordinator, but Andy Reid was calling the plays. Like, and yeah, do you give people titles in order to, if they're a good coach, to get them on your staff? Absolutely, you do. 100%. There's no question that there are coaches that have titles, and I'm not saying they're not doing a lot of work, but
right.
That's how you can get coaches off of other staffs, is to say, all right, you were the quarterback coach there, I'm going to make you the offensive coordinator here, but oh, by the way, I'm going to call the offense.
Okay.
Those things happen all the time.
Well, I'm just telling you, I remember a coach, again, I go back to playing, a guy said, hey, you can lie to your girlfriend, you can't lie to football. And I'm like, God, that's so true. I mean, you'll get exposed eventually, because if you can't do the job, I just got a problem with being called that, because I think that's how Brian Callahan got this job, which he did not deserve, for being a OC in Cincinnati when he never called a play. Now, Tim, you know this. It's different when you suggest a play, but you're the man in the arena and you got to make that call. That's a whole different world. At least I think it is.
It is different. A lot of times these things are, like what call you're getting to is predetermined. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, of like, sometimes it's like you're just coming right down the list, unless something happens in a game where things hit the fan and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we can't get to that play for, whatever the reason. So I hate to say this, there's an advantage. I thought like Sunday night's a good example of, the Giants, something defensively where it was like, Philadelphia's response in run game to something that was kind of taking advantage of what New York was doing was really good. That's an game. You see what they're doing. You call something to counter it. Like, that's really good. That does not happen as often as people think. It really does, especially in pro football, when the book on these coaches has kind of been written about what they like on third down, like who the personnel is, all those things. So I kind of think in some ways it's a little overblown. Now, I think when you are kind of relinquishing something, saying, okay, like let somebody else have it, I do think like you are acknowledging that you are not having success doing it the way that you're doing it. So, like, to me, the title and the high, like, you can't lie and this and that. It's kind of why I made the point I did about, like, you're going to have coaches on your staff, and not everybody's oar is in the water the same way. It's just not. Like, and I could say that for every single team that I've been on. Look, when I was in Arizona and Ken Wisnant was the head coach, Todd Haley was the offensive coordinator. Todd Haley did so much of the work when I was there, so much of the work, because of how the staff was built. That's the way it went down. And then, Russ Grimm was the offensive line coach, and like he had his stuff that he would focus on. So that is how it works on every single staff. And I think when you kind of give somebody else some of that responsibility, I believe it's really as much during the week responsibility as it is game day.
Okay. All right.
Tim Hasselbeck is with us. The old phrase of sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Philadelphia was definitely lucky on Sunday with that play, but do you think they are good? Are they up to the level that they were last year?
I do think they're good, because they're good on offense, they're good on defense, and obviously just look, they've made plays on special teams. I think the other reason they're good, and I had this conversation with Scott Van Pelt on Sunday night, was their quarterback's poise and leadership in all circumstances, I think is wildly impressive because they were getting run off the field. They had 33 yards of offense in the first half. They were getting booed at Lincoln Financial Field. I mean, defending Super Bowl champs, like getting booed, just because they're struggling against the Rams. And he's unfazed. Like, here's the expression on his face, how hard he plays, like it doesn't change. So I think when you have, kind of that type of resolve and grit and ability to respond to adverse situations, I think that makes you good. I really do. So, yeah, that's a good football team. And, there's obviously a little bit of good fortune in some of that stuff, but, to play hard the way they did against a good football team and not flinch, I do think that's a mark of a good team.
Tim, I got to ask, I don't know why I came up with this question. What's the hardest you ever hit at quarterback?
That I got hit?
Yes.
Oh, I've got an interesting one. We were playing the Giants. It had snowed like 5 inches the night before. I was in Washington. Spurrier called a bootleg. We were trying to fool Michael Strahan. Like, good idea. He's only been in the league like 15 years. Going to go to the Hall of Fame. We're trying to trick him. And I turn around, and like before I could even see anything, he just puts his helmet in my chest, lifts me up, and drives me into the ground. Like, hitting the ground hit like so much more, hurt so much more than when he hit me. And I'm not making this up. This is the craziest part about it. So the only reason I don't fumble is because the ball is like pinned between his body and mine. And he's smiling, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Hey, buddy." And my wife, Elizabeth, had just gotten hired at The View. And he's like, "Congratulations on your wife getting that job." I'm like, "What? What just happened?" He literally said that to me. I'm like, and like now you look at it, it's like there's obviously like some type of foreshadowing to his interest in morning and daytime television.
Is he as big? I've never seen him. Is he as big as he was when he landed on you?
Well, you know something? When he played early in his career, he played like over 280 pounds, and then he tore his pec. And he really finished kind of the last, whatever it was, 6 to 8 years of his career playing like under 260.
Wow.
So he really was, you line him up over, the offense's right tackle, and stop the run. And then later in his career, he dropped a bunch of weight and, became a little bit more of a pass rusher.
Oh, what a great story. Congratulating you and your wife on her new job while he pinned you to the ground.
This was like, what? Like, I'm like, where am I? I was like, did I get knocked out? Like, why? Like, what? Am I dreaming this? So crazy.
Oh, that's great. Good times.
Tim, appreciate it as always. We will. Who do you got Friday night?
Brentwood Academy Friday night.
Ooh, okay. So that's a
Let's
big one.
go,
For sure.
Innsworth.
Let's go, Innsworth, for sure.
Yeah, transfer portals open in high school football.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good luck with that, and we'll talk next week.
All right, sounds good. See you, fellas.
So yeah, Tim Hasselbeck, Innsworth high school football coach, and also an ESPN NFL analyst, joining us here on the program. We'll react to some of that and much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Tim Hasselbeck, appreciate him for joining us here on the program and got his reaction. Brian Callahan giving up play calling for the Titans. Do want to pass this along with the Predators playing a preseason game tonight. Congratulations go out to Pete Weber and Terry Crisp, who have been announced as the latest inductees into the Preds Golden Hall. Pekka Rinne surprised them, and I think it was really cool that those two are going to be the next in the Golden Hall.
Is that the only two, or there are more to be announced?
Only two I know of right now.
Okay.
You didn't make it this year.
I'm trying. I owe Sean Henry a little money, so maybe if I catch up on that, I'll be back on the Golden Hall. No, good. I learned a lot about hockey from those two gentlemen.
Yeah. See, they're more to me. They were always more than just the announcers. Like they were the ones that taught a little, at the time, little southern town that didn't know anything about ice hockey, even though there was some people that did, but most people did not.
Sure.
And they made it enjoyable.
They were the original ambassadors. And I think about those two guys is the fact, and you know them very well, Chase, is that they're so gracious. They are so gracious and nice and make time for everybody. I mean, we've been around people who don't do that. And it really reflects like, oh man, that guy's a jerk, whatever. Those guys are the best. And so a lot of hockey that I've learned to love was because of those two guys on the radio and then on TV.
Well, and it's funny, like I put this in a tweet. Like I literally have to pinch myself of that. I know these guys. Like it's become more than I just worked with them. Like I could pick up the phone and call either one right now, and they'd answer and like, hey, what's going on? And Terry Crisp is a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. Pete Weber, Hall of Fame broadcaster. Pete Weber was a part of the Bills radio team during that run of 4 Super Bowls.
He was.
I mean, he's told me Jim Kelly stories.
And O.J. Simpson stories.
O.J., yeah. I mean, so he knows, like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's really cool. So I'm glad to see it because, the time had come to open a team Hall of Fame or Ring of Honor or however you wanted to put it. But I think, it's okay to recognize that there's not a ton of candidates for it right now. Now, I think there's some others like, Mike Fisher, Thomas Vokoun, Shea's already in it. You got maybe David Legwand. I mean, he's the first draft pick. I mean, there are several other Barry Trotz.
One that you're leaving out that I think should be in there because I think he changed the narrative.
Jordan Tutu?
No.
Who?
Paul Correa.
Yeah.
He came here when nobody was coming here. And they were already good, but he made them better.
Yep.
And it was like, why is Paul Correa going to Nashville? He's a big free agent signing after the lockout. And I think Correa was one of those guys. And how lucky is it for you to know Terry, Pete, you worked with Willie and George and now me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty big.
What a group.
Right, man.
What a group.
You're lucky, pal. Oh, God.
Wes in Clarksville on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com, 615-737-1025. I just hope they don't induct Pete at halftime of the next Titans game. There'll be booze.
Well, that won't happen down there.
Yeah.
They'll speak, too, shockingly, right? They'll get them to speak about it.
Yeah, and I don't know if Bill Haslam will speak, but Sean Henry, who represents the ownership group, will, as the CEO, he'll speak. So I'm like, I mean, we heard from Burke Nihill, so I'm glad Mike Keith got Burke. That was good. No offense to Burke, but I think that's one Amy could have given 2 minutes for.
Yeah, it just that's it.
That really great. Like I know I shouldn't be that pissed off about it or surprised. But like here's the other thing. I have never worked with Mike Keith directly.
Mm-hmm.
He has always been with Titans Radio, which has an affiliation with the other station. Mike Keith, from the first time I met him, and the first time I met him, he knew who I was. And I was like, wait, how do you know who I am? But he knew who I was. And I think it was at BGA actually. As nice as can be. And ever since that day, it has always been, Chase, how's it going? Tell me what's going on. and it's not it's not a throwaway thing either. It's a
Mm-hmm.
hey, I legitimately want to know how you're doing. And when we moved to the new time slot, right before we went on the air, I got a text from Mike Keith. Hey, good luck on the new time slot. Enjoy the show. And it's like, that's the kind of guy. So I take it personally because that guy is just like Pete and Terry,
Mm-hmm.
is someone that even though we knew football, we didn't know the NFL.
Right. Yeah.
And look, we all grew up together because this was his first big job, as the voice of the team in 1999. Like
Right.
it became the Titans and Mike Keith became the voice. I don't even remember who it was those first 2 years with the Oilers, but
it was the guy that called Purdue football, and I forget his name, that passed away.
Oh, was he in Houston?
He was, I don't know, he was here 97 and 98.
Okay.
And then after that, I'll tell you real quick, funny. And Justin Beasley, if you're listening, you know what story I'm talking about.
He's probably not listening.
We were in Providence, Rhode Island for the playoff game. It was the Titans versus the Patriots. It was January of 18 because they stayed in Providence because it's closer to Foxborough. And we had a special to do that night for Channel 4. And we interviewed Mike Keith for that. So there was a bunch of fans that were coming to the hotel, and there were a lot of Patriot fans there. And a couple came by and said some really smart ass things to Mike. And Mike Keith turns around and says, "You better keep on walking, boy." And I was like, ha ha. And then Mike was mad. And we were like, hell yeah, we're going to rumble in Providence. I said, what? And so somebody else came by and they said something stupid. Mike said, yeah, shut your mouth. And we knew he was, I was like, this is a side of Mike Keith going to kick some ass I had never seen. And we laughed about that. I'm like, if we're going, let's go. I'll go with you, Mike, here in Providence, Rhode Island, take care of this. He was I had respect for him, but that just made me laugh because he took it personal, which he should have.
That's a really great, that could be a question of the day. Like if who's somebody that if they said, hey, I need you to get into this fight with me, that you go, all right, no questions.
Right.
Like if Mike Keith turned around and looked at us and said, hey boys, we got to throw down.
I'm
like, all right. If Mike Keith is saying it,
could you
Jim Wyatt's another one. If Jim Wyatt said, guys, we gotta throw hands with these people, I'm like, all right.
Could you imagine if it happened and like through Twitter got out and there's video of me and Mike Keith and Beasley just beating the snot out of Patriots fans? That'd have been the greatest thing ever. It'd been everywhere out there. Mike he takes no jack, man. It would be a lot of fun.
All three of you would have been fired, but it would have been a great video.
Oh yeah. I'd pick Beasley up and throw him like a bowling ball. He'd knock over some people. He's a little cute guy, 4'2".
Look, I could see Mike being like secretly trained as a black belt and just roundhouse kicking someone like in Roadhouse.
I've told you for years, our good friend Hope Hines, there's not a doubt in my mind he's got bodies in his backyard.
Yeah.
Not a doubt in my mind that there's bodies in that backyard. He's taken down people throughout the years. But no, you're right. I mean, Pete and Terry are great. And we got lucky. We're blessed with great announcers in this town and on and on and on. So it's well deserving. And I know the ownership will stand up and say something for Pete and Terry, unlike they did for Mike Keith on Sunday, which is really sad.
Yep. Coming up next, we get back into the news of the day. Brian Callahan has given up play calling. I almost said that in a really bad way. Has given up play calling for the Tennessee Titans. We'll discuss that much more next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game.
Hey guys, Big Joe here. Let's talk about anxiety and depression. 2 words that can just wreck your life if you let them. And man, most of us, we lead lives of quiet desperation, but it does not have to be that way. That is why we are so honored here at 102.5 The Game to be partnering with Unity Psychiatric Care, based right here in Middle Tennessee, to get you back on track and living the life you so deserve. Reaching out to someone and talking to someone really changed my life, and I want the same for you if you are struggling. Here's all you got to do. Just go to GameNashville.com and click on the Chase and Big Joe Show. There you will see a link for Unity Psychiatric Care and start taking back your life. It is private. It is confidential. It is secure. Nobody's got to know. I just need you to go there if you need to talk to someone. Or you could call 1-888-508-8002. That's 1-888-508-8002. 8002. And look, help is just around the corner. Take back your life, and please know this, you do not have to go through any of this alone, because I say all the time, our world's a better place because you are here. Again, just go to GameNashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe Show, and let the journey begin.
Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, here on this Tuesday. We're broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. So, by the way, keep listening. We're going to have your chance to win some Predators tickets, I guess, to tonight's game. So we'll be giving those away here in just a little bit. But I'm curious of with this new play calling thing, if I still am taking phone calls on trading guys. Like, if they haven't called, if Mike Borgonzi hasn't called the San Francisco 49ers asking if they're interested in Jeffrey Simmons or Arden Key or anybody, then I would be very disappointed.
Oh, we said it last week. You lose this game, everybody's good to go out there. And well, look, you're 0-3. Chances are you're going to lose. I mean, if you lose on Sunday, you're 0-4. You still got 2 more games on a road trip. Start selling off the assets and acquiring draft capital. Look, we told you, again, I'll use an analogy. I got bad gas in my car, and the mechanic said, let that gas out, put new gas in, and you'll be fine. Look, you got bad gas on the team. They say it that way, but you got bad gas on the team.
They got a lot of bad gas on the team.
Get rid of the bad. I'm not saying Simmons is bad. I'm just saying get rid of what's out there and get assets back. You draft some really bad players throughout the years. They're almost done, and then restart. I mean, knock it down to the what do you call it, the studs? Knock it down to us, to the studs. Example, Harry Truman never spent a night in the White House. Do you know that?
No.
Because the White House was falling apart when he took over the second term. He never spent the second term in the White House.
Is that why he was at Key West all the time?
That's why he's at Key West all the time. So what did he do? They had to rebuild the White House. So he took over FDR in 45. He was there, but the second term in 48, he did not. He moved out. They rebuilt the White House. You got to rebuild the White House here. You got to rebuild it. Take it down to the studs and build it back up. This draft class in 25, there's a lot of good promise there. Skoronski's playing good. There's some good pieces there. Just got to start doing more of that, and keep going. That's going to take a while. Now, is Callahan the guy? Absolutely not. He's not the guy to go forward. I want a fire and brimstone guy, man. I want a guy to come in there and just on your butt nonstop, because that works. I need that. Callahan's not the guy. Build it back up.
So you're comparing the Tennessee Titans to the most iconic and powerful building in the world?
To a part which had to be taken down.
I know.
You're right. But it had to be taken down. It had this franchise at one point pretty damn good.
I'm just disappointed that they got rid of the pool. You know, the White House used to have a pool.
I think it's still there. Or did they make it?
I think they built. I think the pool.
No, the pool's the press room.
Yeah, they built something on it.
Yeah. So when you do the press briefing, that's where the pool used to be. True story.
Was it an indoor pool?
It was an indoor pool. It was. So that's where the pool is. But anyway, you got to build it back up and hopefully you got the right pieces to do that. Now, I think it's a step in the right way. I'm actually looking forward to this game on Sunday, see what Bo Hardegree can do. Here's his opportunity to go out and do something, call some different plays. Now, I'm also curious, Callahan, during the game, I mean, the itch to stay out of the way, can he do that? I'm not sure he can, but maybe he's going to have to.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. I feel like a majority of the people are happy with this move, but at the same time still want Callahan out. Now, I'm kind of with you. I'm curious to see how it changes, if it changes, you know, what it looks like on Sunday. You know, is some of the game operation stuff better now that Callahan can supposedly focus on that more, because apparently he wasn't before? I don't know.
It could be. Adam Schefter tweeted out a couple hours ago about the change that's happening with the Titans, and some of the responses from like non-Titans fans outside the bubble about this are really funny. But here's one that says, all right, Titans fans, Bo Hardegree 2 years ago almost made Aiden O'Connell look like Tom Brady. This is an upgrade at the very least, and he's not wrong. I mean, they improved. The Raiders did when he took over. Now, why Antonio Pierce did not retain him for 24, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But in the time that he had, he upgraded the Raiders' offense.
Well, it is funny. I have basically said during all this that if you go to the interim, which Mike McCoy to me should be the interim coach, that Nick Holtz would get fired along with Callahan, and that Hardegree should become the play caller. So Brian Callahan's gone ahead and taken care of one step for us, I guess.
Yeah, it's he has, right? And there's a lot of people like, why not just go ahead and get rid of him if you're going to make that? And that's the thing. I
think somewhere either he talked them into it, or this was them saying, you know, hey, this is your last opportunity to save your job because they like him. Then I don't know. But I mean, this was kind of decided somewhere of like, hey, we're going to give you one more chance. Yeah. Look, I'm telling you right now, if they go down there and he's making boneheaded decisions as a head coach again, and they lose like 41-6 or 41-7, something like that, I still think there is a very good chance that they fly back to Nashville and she fires him.
Oh yeah.
Because it's Houston, and it does sound like, you know, because there was a report that she had been thinking about it, and it sounds like somebody's in her ear saying you make too many rational, emotional decisions. So just, you know, let's let this play out a little bit. And she's listening to it right now, but eventually I don't think she will. And here's the other thing. All the craziness of the last few years has driven them to do that. She honestly should fire him now. Like right now, they're not making the right move because she's made so many bad moves.
You're 100% correct on all that. These memes
Like
that they
the-
sent
okay.
Schefter for this, God Almighty.
Firing Robinson in, halfway through the season when you're leading the division, bad move. Firing Vrabel at the end of the season after setting him up for failure with Carthon and everything else, I think was a bad move.
Mhm.
Firing Carthon at the end of the season when you did, good move. That was the right move. You did a good thing. So, I mean, it's like, now you can't let the bad stuff and the bad decisions prevent you from making good ones. If you lose this week, he should still be fired as head coach.
Yeah, you're 0-4 and you're the worst team in football, and there's no really light at the end of the tunnel. And you got the 2 more games on the road, then you come back. We talk about it. You got Vrabel, you got to go to the Colts, and you got the Chargers come to town. So nobody's feeling sorry for you right now. But we knew this. I think most of us thought it was a bad hire 2 years ago.
I'm not going to go that far. I think there were people that were intrigued by it, but they were.
Let me ask you, why were you intrigued? I'm curious.
I bought too much into who he had worked with.
As smart as you are, I'm curious to know why you were intrigued by this, because you're like me.
Yeah, no,
and I'm like, this is not good.
I was too hung up on. He'd worked with Burrow, he'd worked with Manning, he'd worked with and then some of the coaches that he had worked with, and I was like, well, surely he's learned something along the way, and will be a good coach. So that's why because I was bought into. Here's the other thing, I was bought into. You just went from a defensive coach. You need to go offensive coach. I don't know why that is kind of a rule or, what people do, but that was where I was. And they went polar opposite. You go from a hard ass to, I'm doing a good job. Everybody's doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
Right.
I mean, like that. So I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yep. When I looked at that, and a lot of people around here were tooting his horn, and I was like, he never called a play, and now he's the head coach and play caller. It just didn't seem like it was going to work out, and it hasn't here. And so now, giving up play calls, working on being the head coach, does that mean he's still going to override Bo Hardegree and call for 72-yard field goals and take 2 timeouts and try to find the K ball? And
I think if he does that, then that'll make it pretty easy. I think he'll get a call into the office, like, all right, you're out.
He is 3-17 as a head coach.
Yep.
One game one game at Nissan Stead. This is the worst he's ever been.
He's 3-17, and Wisenhunt was 3-20.
3-20. You got 3. I'm telling you, man. It's
so he
eerie.
went 2-14 the first year, and then 1-6 before he was fired.
Yep. And then I remember talking to some people over there in Titans building. It's like they knew it was coming, but they didn't know it was coming. Like, all right, yeah. And then when it happened, like, what?
That was her first move. That was the coup d'etat, where she takes over and becomes the controlling owner. And then she's like, get this mess out of here. And, Rustin Webster knew he was dead man walking at the end of the
right.
Year.
It was.
So, and look, those were the right moves.
Can I tell you a funny real quick? It takes 10 seconds. I sit next to Rustin Webster at a Vanderbilt. Rustin Webster at a Vanderbilt football game. We're on the top level in that tiny press box up there, and I'm sitting next to him, and he's asking me about players. And I have this is like 2014. I have no clue who these players are.
He didn't either.
Right? What about this guy and that guy? I'm like, oh, that guy showed some promise. I had no idea. Because nobody was talking to him, and he recognized me from TV, and I'm like, oh my God, man, this is the worst. And finally, I just excused myself and went and sat in the stands. I'm not going to do that. I had the one Vanderbilt press box hot dog I'm allowed, which is still the greatest sports story of all time. And I got out of the press box and went and sat in the stands. Do you know that story?
Which one?
The hot dog story?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we're at a game one time, and Brian McKeegan, if you're listening, you know that, and Hope Hines is there. And this is Vanderbilt University, right? More money than you know what. And we're going through the line, and Hope Hines takes 2 hot dogs. And one of the sweet elderly workers in the press box grabs Hope's hand and says, Hope, you're only allowed 1 hot dog. And Hope, look, he's got 2 hot dogs on his plate. And Hope says, well, you better go get more hot dogs, and walks off. And they're trying to stop him over one hot dog. It's one of the greatest moments of all time in a press box over a hot dog. And Hope was like, yeah, well, you better get more
Good
hot
luck.
dogs. And that's it. And walks away. And they were so mad, so upset that Hope took 2 hot dogs. We're not talking ribeye steaks.
No,
It's a hot dog.
I would have had some choice words too.
Yeah, it's Vanderbilt. Now, had it been Chase McCabe's house, I get it. Or Nick Frazier's little side hustle, I get it. It's Vanderbilt. Ever a hot, and that right summed up Vanderbilt athletics for many years. Thank God for Clark Lee.
Oh, that's pretty good. 615-737-1025. We'll take more of your calls. Adam, hang with me. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Hour number 3, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. Reacting to the news, Brian Callahan has given up play calling duties and handed them over to quarterbacks coach Bo Hardegree, effective immediately. And he, obviously, we're all reacting to that. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. Adam in Portland. Adam, I have been waiting all day to hear from you because I know you got thoughts on this.
Well, it changes nothing. But here's the thing, Chase. I just heard you say I was enamored by him being with Burrow and all that, right? So, and I was the same way. Like, you hear him with good quarterbacks, but you can see right off the bat. You know I call you guys a lot, and I enjoy it. Since 102.5 The Game turned into The Game from the party, I've been listening. And I feel like I almost owe it to you guys to lend my support. But so I could talk about this crap all day. But if you were to hand me the keys and go, hey, go run this, I'm going to miss so much stuff. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you can't just hand it to me because I call you guys.
Yep.
I would be missing advertisers and how to run a board. I wouldn't know how to pay people. Like, there's so many things that I would miss that it would just burn. And that's what's happening right here, dude. He can't just live off his dad's credit and be around I've been around these guys since I was 10 years old. So show me something, dude. You show me zero skill. So, and that's where I'm at with him. So yeah, they strip him. I still don't think, like, he's still in charge of stuff. So he's still going to be missing stuff. So I don't think it's going to change one thing, dude.
Yep. I'm kind of with you on that one, Adam. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you.
That's a great call. Great point.
Adam is what we like to call a season ticket holder.
Yeah, right.
And we appreciate it. A long time. He's a PSL owner. He's a long time.
There's a lot of reaction has been on the social medias of like, all right, you did this. Why not just go away? Just enough. Enough is enough. This is not going to change anything. You've given up play calling, and then we appreciate your time here and move on.
You know how I like to play devil's advocate, right?
You do it.
And
you do a great job.
Yeah. And you sometimes hate it when I do that. Do you think that this is kind of the look, we know we're going to make a change, but it might be more detrimental to Cam to do it now as opposed to the end of the season? Let's see because they could also be saying Cam seems to like Bo. We like Bo. Let's see what Bo can do in that role. And then when we do make the change, maybe we keep Bo.
I hate the word detrimental because it's football.
Yeah.
It's not life or death. And Cam's a grown man. He's bounced around from Incarnate Word to Washington State to Miami, now the Titans. Guy knows what he's doing. I think his development is the guy works his ass off. We've seen it. I mean, he was mad about the pick 6 on Sunday. I mean, he's going to make mistakes, and he's trying to get better. And his action, words, everything he does is trying to get better. So I don't think, to me, when it's talking about his development, he'll get there. I mean, he'll get there because he works hard, right? And yeah,
but
coach can get you to the next level. I understand that, but I just don't think that the guy's going to work hard regardless of who's there. That's my point.
But you've seen coaches ruin quarterbacks.
Ken
Wisenhunt ruined Jake Locker.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
Wisenhunt was an absolute, you know what?
I know.
Callahan's not.
No, but I mean, but I still like there have been players broken across the National Football League.
Yeah, I can see that. But until it happens, I don't know. I just think that all this is just you make a change, make a whole change, man.
Yeah.
Just a whole change.
Kevin in Florida wants to weigh in on the Titans. Hi, Kevin. What's up?
Hey, gentlemen.
What's up?
Love the show. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thanks,
although
buddy.
your new time slot makes it a bit more difficult. But, yeah, Callahan needs to go. And I just want to pose a question, and I'll hang up and let you all think about it. Do you think Borgonzi called him in the office this morning and said, either you give up your play call duties or you get fired? And I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it. Don't be a stranger. Absolutely, yes. I do. I think I hope it was Mike Borgonzi because that shows that he's actually got some pull around there.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I think, based on what he said yesterday,
right?
I'm not buying that he woke up this morning and was like, looked at his wife. I don't know his wife's name. Sheila, I'm giving up play calling.
Sheila.
I don't know. First thing that came to mind. I'm giving up play calling. I just don't think that happened.
We said her yesterday on the press conference, and you had the reaction of like, he's kind of tough guy after.
Yeah.
Yesterday's like, I'm not giving it up. You think Borgonzi watched the tape again and said, all right, after his defiance yesterday, if I'm not giving it up, Borgonzi sat in his office and said, there's no way you can keep this going on. And now that you think you can keep it going on, I think he absolutely said it's over.
Would you say no to Borgonzi in that thick Boston accent? He'd come in there and go, hey, I'm making you an offer and you best take it. I have an idea for you, and that is you're giving up play call.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And he's like, or else.
A better idea.
And he's like, or Calvin's like, or what? What else? And then play a clip from Casino or Goodfellas, right? It's just any of those.
I would just be like, you ever seen that scene from Goodfellas where Tommy thinks he's getting made? There you go.
You got to stop. You can't do this. So it's a new day for the team. And it's somebody said earlier, it's like, dead man walking on, and I guess that's accurate. I don't know. They could go down there and win 38-7 and then everything's good again. But then it comes back to like, yeah, the play calling was really bad. You're responsible for that. And now the team's doing better. I don't see, Chase, how Callahan can win this.
I don't either. I just, there doesn't seem to be any way he is going to survive.
Because if they win, they score a bunch of points. Well, play calling. Yeah. If they lose, same old, doesn't matter. He still sucks. I don't know. This is the worst the franchise has ever been.
Look, if he attempts a 74-yard field goal, with a minute to go in the half, then I think you're going to see that it hadn't changed anything.
Were you at the game, or did you see that interview on TV? I don't forget where you were Sunday.
I was at Bridgestone Arena.
Oh, actually, somebody's working around here.
Yep.
Were you? Dr. Crane? Where were you? Were you
for what?
When Callahan did the halftime interview, where were you?
I was watching the game. Yes.
When he said that, I actually stood up and was like, there was nobody around me. I'm like, what? How could you possibly play for a field goal? I knew right then he was done.
Look, I was watching the game, and my mom even heard it, and she goes, just go for it every single time. I was like, I'm with you, Mom.
Right.
Just go for it. You have nothing
Your
to
mom
lose.
knows that.
She says they go to Super Bowl every year. I'm like, I don't think this is the year, Mom. Not happening.
Yeah. So this was you when you heard that. You were Peter Griffin, and you just stood up and walked out.
Oh, it didn't play. Something else played there. Okay. That was basically it. When your head coach is playing for a field goal, when Jim Wyatt writes that, when Jim Wyatt is frustrated,
Look,
it's hit a new level.
All you guys and girls need to know, we have a couple of rules on this show. We don't have many. One of them, if you piss off Jim Wyatt, you're done.
Yep.
You are done.
You are done.
You do not mess with Mike Keith. You do not mess with Jim Wyatt.
Yeah, right.
Like if you piss one of them off, we got problems. This is a response you'll get.
Done.
I had never seen Jim. Look, we know Jim is the voice of the the kind of the written voice of the Titans over there.
Of all the dumb moves that they have made over there,
yeah, right.
Hiring him was the smartest.
Yeah.
Because no offense to anybody else, he's the best beat reporter that has ever covered anything in this town ever. And that's no disrespect to anybody else, but he is the GOAT.
They know. They all know. But I thought you were going to say, of all the dumb things they've done on the field, for that to finally get Jim to say that, that's how bad it's gotten over there. But now on Sunday, I hope they go down and they win 38-6. I hope this turns out well for Bo Hardegree, because he seems like he knows what he's doing.
Bob, real quick, wants to weigh in. What's up, Bob?
Hey, guys. You asked if he was forced to give up play calling. He answered that question for you in the press conference.
Yeah, but I don't have to believe that answer.
Well, no. When he said he actually didn't regret any of his play calling. He wouldn't change anything. He said his play call was perfect. So that tells you he didn't change anything. Someone forced him to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Bob.
All right.
Appreciate it. Yeah. He also said, like, no, we talked about it and I kind of thought about it and just decided it was best for the team.
God, I would love to know what happened. What went
Like,
down.
can you imagine having that conversation? Like, here's the deal. We're going to make you look good here. We're going to make let you make everybody think this was your idea, but you either go with this idea or you go. It's very simple.
What's the scene from Entourage when the agent slams the door and he screams at him? I can't say it because he cusses on it, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, we're doing this and you're not going to say anything about it. We're moving forward. And that's how it's happening.
Pretty much. Speaking of moving forward, Oklahoma State has done that. We're also going to get into a little college football coming up next. Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel on this Tuesday, 102.5 The Game.
Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid. Write something about me or our coaches. Don't write about a kid that does everything right, that's heart's broken, and then say that the coaches said he was scared. That ain't true. And then to say that we made that decision because Donovan Woods, because he threatened to transfer, that's not true. So get your facts straight. And I hope someday you have a child and somebody downgrades them and belittles them, and you have to look them in the eye and say, you know what? It's okay. They're supposed to be mature adults, but they're really not. Who's the kid here? Who's the kid here? Are you kidding me? That's all I got to say. It makes me want to puke.
That was Mike Gundy. September 22nd, 2007. Today is September 23rd.
Wow.
18 years ago, Mike Gundy had the famous "I'm a man, I'm 40." And today, Mike Gundy was relieved of his duties as the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Well, they're going to write something about him, he asked back then, and do. The in-season firing now of coaches. So that's Virginia Tech, UCLA, and now Oklahoma State that have happened.
Yeah. Look, I think what you're seeing is, and I can't speak on UCLA and Virginia Tech necessarily in this, but like Mike Gundy is a prime example of a coach from another generation that I don't think wants to buy into where it's going.
I mean, 21 years at Oklahoma State now.
21 years, well, more than that. I mean,
as a head coach,
he played there, like he was an assistant. I mean, he's been involved for 30-something years, and it is what it is. And I mean, look, Clemson may be going through the same thing, because if Dabo's not willing to change and buy in, then what are we doing?
Well, Dabo speak the other day about we won a lot around here. We've won a lot around here.
It unfortunately doesn't
when
matter.
You start attack's a strong word. The media, same thing Butch Jones did in Knoxville. When he started, you guys are making up rumors and all that stuff. We're not dumb. We know what's going on. And that happens. And so now he's out of Oklahoma State. I mean, it's always been tough. I thought playing under the shadow of Oklahoma, that'd be something like Auburn and Alabama as well. But he's gone. And so, do I feel sorry for him? No, I mean, he's worth millions and all that. Sometimes it's just time.
Yeah.
To say goodbye and Mike Gundy being in. I'm still just so shocked. Like Tim Hasselbeck said earlier, we're not even to October yet.
Yeah. And
these guys are being let go.
There's already been 3 major firings.
There might be one more, and I'm surprised he's still coaching there this weekend.
Who?
Sam Pittman.
Oh, yeah. After losing to Memphis? Oh, I'm sorry.
And the way they did?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
Mm-hmm. And the whole time we thought it would be Jeff Levy getting the axe. Meanwhile, they're sitting there at 4-0, waiting for the Tennessee Vols to come to Starkville.
I had to believe it to see it. I'm guilty. I said it before. This team's going bowling, but I had to believe it to see it.
It could be.
He's. I mean, no matter what happens from here, like he's saved his job for a year, right?
I'd say
think.
2, easily 2 to 3.
I never go that far.
I'd go 2 for sure.
Well, when you were predicted to go 2-10, and now you're 4-0, and you could knock off Tennessee on Saturday, which would be a tall task. But still,
look, I think Tennessee's good.
They are good.
Tennessee's a playoff team. That game against Georgia, I mean, I think you do a couple of little things different, and you have those guys on defense that were hurt.
Yeah,
I think they win that ball game.
Well, you do different. You don't play for a field goal.
That too.
Stop doing that. Coaches, stop playing for a damn field goal. Go for it.
I didn't do it. Don't yell at me.
It's just so frustrating. So many ways. The game of football drives me insane. Luckily, this weekend, there were no 4th and 1 from the shotguns that got my blood pressure going. I saw that I didn't see.
There are some pretty good games this weekend, by the way. Looking at the schedule, obviously, we're watching Vanderbilt very closely, have a chance to go 5-0, taking on Utah State. They are a 21.5-point favorite.
Not a bad Aggie team that's coming to town, so be
bad
careful.
And then tomorrow, Friday night, Florida State takes on Virginia, a 3-0 against a 3-1 team. TCU, Arizona State. So those are 2 pretty decent games right there. Georgia Tech, Wake Forest on Saturday. USC and your favorite Illinois will take place
Illinois
on
is
Saturday.
done. They got manhandled by
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah, they got exposed. Notre Dame heads to Fayetteville to take on Arkansas.
Oh, let's go.
This might be it.
Let's go, Arkansas.
This might be it. Because look, Notre Dame's got to win too. Like Notre Dame's 1-2.
That's right.
So
I don't like teams dipping down the SEC, man. Thump them, Arkansas.
Ohio State and Washington. Washington's no slouch.
He's a good president too. I'm not wrong on that.
You're not
Okay.
wrong. One of my favorites that I believe is referred to as the Magnolia Bowl, LSU and Ole Miss.
Is that this weekend?
Yep. 2:30 on ABC.
That's like late October, early November. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, have you not seen the internet broke because of this? So Kiffin's daughter is dating what's his name?
Weeks
at LSU. And
how's that happen?
And then so a picture of them got posted this week of them dating. Lane quote tweets it and says, "Take the over."
How does that? I mean, it's not like Oxford and Baton Rouge are next door to each other.
It's
like the
think she might go there. I don't think she goes to Ole Miss.
To LSU?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but
it's like the Manchurian candidate.
Yeah. Auburn and Texas A&M.
Where's that game?
College Station. That's going to be a good game.
Really good game.
Indiana and Iowa.
It's either going to be 6-4 or 49-5.
Yep. You mentioned Tennessee, Mississippi State down at Davis Wade Stadium.
Do they give you a spread on that?
Yeah. On what? Iowa?
No, on Tennessee, Mississippi State.
What do you think it is?
Tennessee by 12.
7.5.
Dr. Crane, you're Bulldogs, man.
They're wearing the white helmets with maroon face masks this weekend. I'm ready.
That's old school.
It is.
Yeah, I like that.
Snow Bowl action.
Arizona, Iowa State is a interesting one. Oregon, Penn State.
Huge.
Saturday night is you got to have two TVs because you got at the same damn time Oregon, Penn State on NBC, Alabama and Georgia on ABC.
That's right. That is this weekend.
Yep. This is Alabama season. This is Alabama season.
If you're a Vandy fan, you want Georgia to thump them because they're done.
Oh, yeah.
They are done at 3-2. You roll at 5-0. Oh, man.
And by the way, that game, the Alabama Vanderbilt game, I don't think I don't know if they've announced it, so maybe I'm not allowed to say it.
I think they did every Monday, don't they? Don't they do Monday for the game?
It's still listed as TBD, but I've been told the time. I just don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
Do it, man. I got your back. I'm like your Bo Hardegree. All right. You're my Brian Callahan.
You're not my Nick Holtz.
Nick Holtz is Nick Frazier.
No, don't you dare.
You get passed up.
It's David James.
David
You're
James.
giving me suggestions.
That's right. Is it day or night?
It is afternoon.
Hello. It's a perfect time to go to the dentist, right?
Yeah.
What's a good time to go to the dentist?
2:30.
Right, because your tooth hurty.
Yeah. Yeah. So I usually it would be updated by now, and I guess it's not.
Okay.
So.
That's something else. Who else? Is Florida playing this weekend?
That's a great question. I was just looking at top 25. Let's look at the SEC. Florida does not play. Kentucky, South Carolina plays Saturday night. You got UMass at Missouri. Auburn, Texas A&M. Yeah, covered the rest of it.
So Kentucky at South Carolina. Kentucky beats South Carolina. Beamer's got 3 losses after all the hype.
Yeah.
Boy, it turns on a dime, man. It turns on a dime if you don't win.
I'm good. Yes, it is 2:30. I just wanted to make sure, but thank you, Andrew.
Was he listening?
He was.
Oh,
he said, "You're good."
So no longer when I think of AA, it's not American Airlines. It's Andrew Allegretto. I like it.
Thank you. So yeah,
so that'll be that's there's a ABC game, which should be
I'm glad that like their branding is like ABC Sports. I mean, it's still ESPN, but also ABC.
CBS gave all that up.
Yep. For the Big Ten.
For the Big Ten.
Just
Hope it
not
works
the
out
same.
for you. Right.
Not the same. Well, you know, it is what it is. We'll come back with more, including Brian Callahan giving up play calling and take your phone calls as well. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game.
To put ourselves in position to win a game. So we're evaluating everything.
Will you give over play calling?
There's nothing to add to it other than that. Yeah.
I'm sure Callahan's got that water noodle. He's slapping guys in the ass, running around. Gotcha. Tag, you're it. Marco Polo. Just nonsense. You won 3 football games. I mean, stop this.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Tuesday. And Brian Callahan gives up play calling duties today, and I'm just
everything must go.
I'm just making sure before I say it, because I don't always trust this one.
By the way, that noodle comment was back this summer when they had the fun and games at camp. We're gonna have fun. We got an ice cream machine.
You were right about that.
Thank you.
I didn't think it was okay. Let me clarify what I said. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, because it was the off season and it was whatever. But you're right.
Thank you.
You're right.
It's football. It's not damn daycare, right? I'm not out there to slap you on the bottom with the pool noodle, right? I'm out there to learn and work hard and get better. Every coach will tell you that. And he ran the damn Pee-wee camp during the summer. You get points, and we get suckers afterward. Nick, did you bring the Capri Suns? And Chase, you better bring the gummy bears.
Don't hate on Capri Sun. What kind of gummies?
Ridiculous.
Orange slices, Joseph. Orange slices.
Orange slices. Just ridiculous. Now, the news. You got it?
Yeah, I'm only seeing it from one place, but we'll see. Jordan Schultz is reporting that the Titans have traded Jarvis Brownlee to the Jets in exchange for a 2026 late round swap, per sources.
Late round. That's all right. Move them out. Next, I expect to see Simmons gone.
I think you might.
Get
San
the
Francisco,
assets, baby.
San Francisco, New England, obviously. Jerry, you could use a defensive playmaker. I'm just saying.
And give up the number one. Get it. I mean, he got 2
Yeah,
for the
I
Packers.
think you got to try and get a number 1 pick.
Yep.
I mean, you can hold on to him as long as you want until the deadline.
Yeah.
And get what I would do is I want this year's first, next year's third, and I'll give you Simmons.
Perfect. Yep.
That's what I would do. So, but so they've traded supposedly Jarvis Brownlee. So there you go. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
I am trying to find a team, and I'm trying to get my little AI here. What football team has had the most draft picks in one
All right,
year?
Johnny Glennon has confirmed it. Thank you, John. So they have sent Jarvis Brownlee to the Jets.
All right. Hey, Jarvis not working out here, so take care of yourself. Be gone. And that's it. But they had high hopes for him.
I liked him.
Wasn't he walking around in a boot last weekend?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
And now, so who steps up in that place?
Dr. Crane.
Roger McCreary.
Roger McCreary.
Here comes that contract extension. It's coming.
Right. Put him out there.
Well,
Let him play.
isn't he the nickel?
Yeah, but I mean, who else you have out there? Jalen Armour Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I can go out there. I'll always offer my services.
Here's what you do. Just grab him at the line of scrimmage. Man coverage. Don't let him get past you. When he comes off, to shove him right in the face and throw him down. Just do it, man. All right. Wow. All right. Here we go. I mean, that's just could be one of many going on.
I think it, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Ricky says Brownlee is good. Why trade a young, promising corner for a pick swap? That's horrible.
Because it's the Titans. That's how they do things.
Yeah, well, that's true. Skyler, I don't like that. Brownlee is someone you're trying to draft in the late round. You know what? Here's the deal. I am going to say I'm a little confused by it too. Because like I said yesterday, everything must go. But if it was a 3, like I want to keep players that are 3 years and less in experience.
Sure.
And this is what, his second year? I think.
Second.
I think it's
Second or
year.
third, yeah, around that number.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't quite understand this either.
I like it. I think Mike Borgonzi's he's cooking up something. I think what he's doing is he's 5 steps ahead of everybody else. He's thinking if this team's going to really suck and be first overall pick, You're going to trade back that draft capital. It's going to be a defensive overhaul in this draft upcoming.
Yeah. Well, look, I want them to go into if they get the number 1 overall pick, I want them to go into this year's draft with like 12 to 15 selections to work with.
That's what I'm trying to find now. What NFL teams had the most draft choices in a single year, and I can't find it. But I'm all about that, man. I'm all about you got to break it down, you build it back up. Borgonzi, you are the guy to do this.
Could you imagine if he somehow worked it where they had 2 picks in each round?
That'd be great.
Like, think of what you could do with that. Because you could then, you could then use some of it as currency to either add a pick in one round or move up or whatever. I mean, you'd have a lot of.
What was they talked about this on the game with the Colts on Sunday? All that entire offensive line drafted. That entire offensive line drafted. The Colts drafted that entire offensive line. I mean, it's just so good when you get the guys that you pour your heart and soul into do so well. Those are your guys, man. They're loyal to you. And I know you lose a few here and there to free agency, but those are your guys. So here we go, man.
Do you buy into the rule of 3? Everything happens in 3s?
Everything does.
All right. So Callahan gives up play calling. Brownlee gets traded. What's next?
Oh, man. I think it'd be another trade.
I don't see them trading Simmons yet. I think that is still a few weeks off. But somebody.
Well,
the Dallas Cowboys in 91 had the most picks with 22.
Good Lord.
That must have been because
the Herschel.
The Herschel trade.
Yeah, when Jerry called back and said, we're cutting all 5 of these players, and the Vikings were like, no, you're not. And he's like,
Watch me.
We're cutting all 5 of these players, and they went and gone. Yeah.
That was there's no way that happens ever again. I don't think it's happened since, but why if you cut them, then you get a draft choice.
Well, the Russell Wilson trade is up there. It's not to the extreme of when he came from Seattle to Denver. That's just stupidity on Denver's part to do that. But it's, for us, we'll always remember what happened in April of 2022 when A.J. Brown.
Dylan in Antioch says, whatever happened to draft, develop, and retain.
Amen.
Okay, so you just talked about when Borgonzi and Brinker would talk again. They won't after this one, but I would like a little bit of an explanation on this.
They're not going to tell us.
No, but
because they know the questions they're going to get.
Yep.
It ain't going to happen.
Yep. I'm a little I don't quite understand this one. Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays. Chasing Big Joe on this Tuesday, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Tuesday. The Titans making some news today. Brian Callahan giving up play calling first, and then as first reported by Jordan Schultz, they are trading Jarvis Brownlee and a 7th to the Jets for a 6th. That is according to sources, and many are confirming that now with Titans media. Don't quite understand that one. Because my impression was that they were building around young talent, and he's a second-year player that was drafted by the team. I mean, I know he's had some penalties and, struggled at times, but do they think he's unfixable or what? I don't know.
I want to see your impression of Borgonzi or Jarvis Brownlee or somebody.
I'll work on it. I'm not going to do it. But anyway, we'll see. And is there more to come? Is this the beginning of the fire sale and they're basically just tanking? It feels. I mean, I don't think they have to try too hard to tank.
Have you seen the last 3 games, man?
Yeah, but we'll see. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc. Use their electrical division for installations, inspections, upgrades, and more. JarrettCompaniesInc.com, above and beyond industry standards.
All right. First on the list, we have Energize Day. So there you go. International Day of Sign Language. National Checkers Day. So it's about dogs and politics. Okay. National Snack Stick Day. Okay. That looks good. National Great American Pot Pie Day. I'll eat a good pot pie.
My gosh.
I like some pot
pie.
Restless Leg Awareness Day. So if you
That's
have some,
all of us.
I think you're usually aware of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Teal Talk Day is today, whatever that is, but shout out to the Teal Talk. Let's see. Oh boy. The start of Rosh Hashanah Day.
Okay.
And
Jewish holiday.
Yes. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And the last one is Zahatar Day. So Zatar, I guess. So it looks like an herb.
What?
So
I'll take your word for it.
Say it again.
ZA'ATAR Zatar Day.
Wasn't that the guy that Tom Hanks gave the quarter to in Big and it turned him into his whole tar or whatever it is?
Baby. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You got to get these within 2 years on either side of their birthday. First up, the great singer Julio Iglesias. How old is Julio Iglesias?
Enrique's dad, right?
Correct.
84.
88.
82. Chase up 1-0. All right, Dr. Crane, your turn. Bruce Springsteen. Dr. Crane, how old is the boss?
71.
74.
76. Chaser's hitting singles. You can win with singles.
You can.
Chase up 2-0. All right.
You do a lot with singles.
All right.
Depends
Chase,
on what establishment you're in.
You're up now. Jason Alexander, George Costanza. How old's Jason Alexander?
I'm up.
Yep.
George Costanza is 62.
64.
66. Dr. Crane hitting singles. 2-1. Dr. Crane, this is you. Anthony Mackie. He is Hawkeye or Hawk in the y'all's weird nerd movies. Captain America. He's Hawk. Hawkeye?
Okay.
No,
he's
Falcon.
Falcon.
Yeah, I know something. How old's
Bird.
Falcon?
I'm going to go 54.
I'm going to say 39.
47.
Huh.
On down some more here. How old next? This will be Chase is up now. How old is somebody I've never heard of? Rapper, producer, record head Jermaine Dupri.
Welcome to Atlanta. Jermaine Dupri is 53.
55.
53 exactly. Chase up 4-1. I don't recognize any of those names. All right, let's go the sports birthdays. Golfer Larry, Dr. Crane, Larry Mize, the golfer.
Larry Mize is 59.
41.
67. How this guy was a head coach for 16 years, I'll never know. Marvin Lewis, Chase, you're up.
67.
71.
67 exactly. Chase up 6-1. Dr. Crane, you're up now. John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh is 58.
Chase.
That's a good one. 60.
63. Chase, you're up. Pete Harnish, former Major League pitcher.
63.
66.
59. Dr. Crane, you're up for this one. Matt Kemp, former Major League player.
Played for the Dodgers a little bit. I'm going to go 40. No. 38.
42.
41. Chase is up 7-1. Our final birthday, Chase, you go first. Chris Johnson.
CJ2K. All right. I'm going to say he is 44.
39.
He is 40. But
Oh,
that's
wow.
all we get. Chase
Okay.
wins 7-2. The fact that Chris Johnson is 40 makes me feel really, really old.
Yeah, me too. That is not going to do it for us because we have the mashup, and I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty good one. And welcome in Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Tuesday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier.
Wait, but you got bad gas on the team.
They got a lot of bad gas on the team.
Get rid of the bad guy. I'm not saying Simmons is bad guy. I'm just saying get rid of what's out there and get assets back. On this Sunday, the Titans were poised for another loss.
And becomes the controlling owner. And then she's like, get this mess out of here. And, Rustin Webster knew he was dead man walking.
Right. He was.
So, and look, those were the right moves.
Can I tell you a funny Rustin real quick? It takes 10 seconds. Yeah. I sit next to Rustin Webster at Vanderbilt. Rustin Webster at a Vanderbilt football game. Well, you better go get more hot dogs, and walks off. And they're trying to stop him over one hot dog. It's one of the greatest moments of all time in a press box. Over a hot dog, and Hope was like, you better get more hot dogs. And that's it. And walks away. We're not talking ribeye steaks.
No,
it's a hot dog. Right?
I know this because as director of operations, that falls under my purview.
Are you responsible for the one ply?
I'm responsible of saying when it needs to be reordered.
Woody and Jim would like to have a word all day long.
My food's finally here.
What time did you order your food?
2 days ago. It came by camel, I guess.
Greyhound bus.
I don't know. Very well done, Dr. Crane, and we appreciate all of you for listening and participating and calling. That is going to do it for us today, but DVD coming up next.
They are coming up next. And listen, our message on every show to our guys out there, if you are struggling, please reach out and talk to somebody. You can talk to us. We appreciate the men who've reached out the last 2 years, have opened up to us. God, we love you so much. We're so glad you are here. I'll tell you every single day that our world is a better place because you are here. You have so much to offer, and we love you so much. Not only do we love you, but more importantly, more than anything else in this world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. We're back at it tomorrow at noon, but DVD coming up next on 102.5 The Game.